month. I imagine there's going to be a lot to talk about. We already know everybody who's here. Need a consideration for the minutes of October. Can I please get a vote on that? Oh yeah, why don't you guys look at them first? That'd be good. Any changes?
I didn't see any problems, that jumped out at me.
Okay. Can I get a motion then to accept?
Also moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right. Don't have a director's report, but we're going to kind of use Neil. So Neil, sir.
I didn't know I was giving a director's report.
Why don't we go financial first, because it's right in front of us anyways.
That's-
Why don't we skip?
That's what
Yep.
I have anyway.
Yep.
All right.
If you look at the bottom right, it's available budget, and it says nearly 21,000.
Yep.
But, like I've said in the past meetings, these are always about a month behind. So everything that I've purchased with credit card doesn't show up there yet. Telephone bill, internet bill, none of that shows up yet. So if you subtract what's already been spent, there's another roughly 1,600 already spent. And then upcoming monthly bills, you'd taking expenditures from this period was about 3,800. So you'd say there's another 3,800 for December. Plus, there's going to be more in December because now we have 2 videographers, which I don't know if you've discussed that yet.
No, haven't done
but,
that yet.
so there's another 4,400 spent. I got a quote today for a TriCaster 40 for about $5,000. So there's another 5,000 gone. We talked about that at a previous meeting.
Last October meeting,
Right.
yeah. But the board pretty much went across and was okay with it as long as we took a look at it and
Yeah,
any issues.
and
but-
he sent it out and looked good.
I haven't gotten the quote on installation and training.
Mhm.
And there's another piece for the desk in there for shelf. And we might have to make one. They won't sell one without the desk. I was told today. Unless I can find it from somebody else. Access AV said they won't sell it by themselves.
I gotta go there Friday. Hopefully I'll remember. It broke. We need to replace it. It's broken.
And then in the meeting minutes from last month, we talked about a second storage server. That would be another 1,500. So we might,
2,700, $3,000, but looking about how
I was
much we
gonna say
have.
maybe even 4,000
All right.
left.
Did you have a chance to talk with David about any wish list of items that he might have in the studio?
Yes.
If you did, he has a wish list on some things in this.
But some of the things are bigger ticket items that we couldn't do with $4,000.
Is there some of them that we can nail out with that?
We could definitely do things like monitors. We replaced one of the editing stations, and I haven't talked to these guys yet, if that is really increased rendering time, or decreased rendering time, and improved
Since
editing.
none of the programs are on it, no.
Brian might have been,
It hasn't improved anything.
Brian might have been over there today.
All right.
Okay.
And then we have an editing station, or a new workstation that goes with the toaster. But we don't want to set it all up with the software for the VT5 if we're getting the TriCaster. You know, why set it all up and then
Yeah,
wipe it out
it's a
and
waste
set
of
it all
time.
up?
Yeah.
So we have a new computer for there too. If that new editing station works out really well and increases or decreases rendering time, we could get another one of those. So I'll try to look at all the requests people have made or recommendations, because Dick had a list he gave me as well from last year, or when he
Yeah.
was doing inventory, he laid out what the studio has and
How old it is and-
recommended years of
Usage and
replacement.
stuff, yeah. All right.
But some of those
Can
are
I
things
just
that-
ask, there's been no lights purchased, right?
No. And I tried to get a meeting with the lighting guys you recommended.
Yeah.
And he said, well, we're really busy right now, but let's try to schedule something later. And so I suggested 2 dates for him that were about 2 weeks out, and he hasn't gotten back to me.
When did you suggest it?
This was after our last meeting, which was 2 months ago.
He actually, and Neil actually emailed me and asked if I wanted to come also, just to check out and talk with the guy at the same time. And And we were scheduled to go, and then the guy had to cancel, so.
And then I suggested later
Yeah.
dates, and
And
he
he had
didn't get
nothing.
back
I
to
remember,
me.
I remember the string of emails back and forth, so,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I'm gonna give him a call anyways, to tell him to get a hold of you. Cause 4,000, you're not gonna get all the lights you need, but you could get some good lights now and then finish next budget, you know?
Right.
But is there another lighting company we could use that would be a little more responsive?
There,
I mean,
no, they,
I mean, this 2 months seems like a long
yeah,
time for somebody
and
who doesn't want our business.
I totally agree with you, but Barbizon is, they're the
Okay,
best. They're
that's-
the- Yeah, and not to say that they're the only thing, but they're
Right.
unless you know lighting yourself, then you can just
Right.
buy the product and not even talk to them about it. But if you're gonna have somebody consult with you, they're pretty much the guys. you
Okay.
want.
On the other hand, if we have a lot of needs, and they're smaller needs, and we can buy, we know we need them and we can buy them.
I,
then
Yeah, I
we
mean,
just
you're
spend
getting rid of
lighting
the money
next
anyway.
year
Yeah,
And
and
do a whole project all
I,
at once.
when is the drop dead, when is the January 1st budget?
Purchase has to be made in December,
Yeah.
and the
so-
invoice has to be received before middle of January.
Yeah, so that's, unless the guy can get here
No,
by
I-
the middle of next week, it's not gonna happen.
I agree with what you just said.
Yeah, and we have.
As long as
Get
it's
the
stuff
things
that
we
you
need.
need.
We also, with the cable contract, which is supposed to be approved next Monday by the selectmen, there's a money in there for equipment, grant money for equipment, so, that's gonna stretch over 5 years, so that also, a piece of that can be used for the lighting also, so that's always a plus, so that'll be nice.
What if we overspend the budget?
Not enough.
Heads roll.
No, and I'm talking, by, let's say 500.
No,
Why would
Do they
you?
can't, well, no, I'm just saying,
if by mistake.
if by mistake, or else if we, because you're not gonna find out
It
unless
would-
you know exactly how much we
It
have.
would reflect very poorly on my job
Yeah,
performance if I
exactly.
overspent the budget.
And also, Don, if you're gonna ask that question, I wouldn't do it in a live meeting. So just- If we're gonna be over $500, what are they gonna do?
Hey, they're over by $500.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, isn't that convenient? But no.
No, I think it was a matter of, he'll have a good number at the end.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's like what I used to do,
yeah. So,
You go down to the end and you spend.
Do
I-
by
I don't-
videotapes.
I don't think
Right.
we don't have to make a motion on it, but Neil understands from the board's feeling is to definitely use up that money and on what needs that David would like to, like you said, monitors and another editing station would work
We've
really
made
well.
motions on that before, so it's okay already.
Yeah, exactly, just use up the money. But, yeah, okay, so that's good. Well, it's one plus the situation, so that definitely worked out nice.
Then for the rest of my report, we have hired 2 new videographers, one to handle Monday, Tuesday, Thursday meetings at Town Hall, and one to handle Wednesday meetings at Town Hall and Monday night school board meetings at the school, because they happen simultaneously. And then, that way, we have 2 trained videographers, so if one can't make a meeting, they can swap and
Nice, good.
make arrangements. So if you didn't meet them before our meeting, we have 1 in there now, and
What's the other guy's name?
That's
These
the
are-
Wednesday guy.
sorry, 2 questions, what?
Sorry.
What's the other guy's name?
Daryl, yes.
Daryl and,
Yeah, Daryl, and
Daryl
Daryl,
and
yeah.
Daryl.
Daryl and Ted were the 2 individuals,
Right.
so that's good. Wonderful.
Also known as Casper Cadillac, I believe.
Will these guys also be cross-trained to run the board that Dave works on, in case he's ever unavailable?
Depending
In
on
the
what
s-
happens with a new coordinator, eventually, who knows what
Okay.
it could be entailed.
At the
None of that
moment,
would-
no.
But, okay,
Right.
so, but at the moment, they're just budgeted for the hours that,
Right,
Here.
and to get them started, they're a little extra time training.
Right.
And for now, we're having Dave do the post-processing of the meetings, just because, let's get them up to speed on
Right.
everything. And then eventually, we'll, likely they'd be over at the studio doing the post-process and.
What are their hours?
Hopefully, it's a total of 15 hours, just like it was for Andrew, between the 2.
Between the two?
between the
Total,
two?
total of 15 hours, just like it was for Andrew, because it's the same number of meetings.
So they're gonna just be the videographers and not editing?
Excuse me.
Right,
Yeah,
for now.
It's not the same amount of meetings, because you're including school board.
That's true.
And so you've added another meeting.
Right.
So,
Right.
because
But
Andrew
with
didn't do
this
school, right?
15 minutes, with this 15 hours, between the two of them, is
Right.
what you're saying?
Correct.
The both of them, okay.
Right.
Then practically never gonna have time to do the stuff in the studio.
Well, let's talk about that in a second.
Yeah,
'cause
that's
that
another
was,
thing.
that was, yeah, because I was here, I don't know which day it was, last Friday or whatever it was, and there was a discussion about that, because I had some concerns about future of coordinator position and so on, but, yeah, it's, the problem that we were running into, or what they're gonna run into, is that the number of hours, yeah, the 15 hours. I didn't realize that 15 hours was for the two of them. I thought one was 10 and one was 10 or 10 or 15. That's what I thought they were before.
The thing is, we're in this year's budget,
Yeah.
which is only 15 hours.
Yeah,
Right.
and so, but even that, though, the next year's budget isn't gonna start really until.
April.
Yeah, exactly, so we're gonna be stuck with those hours, so,
And there's not gonna be an increase in next year's budget.
no,
That's already been.
not for that,
Right.
yeah, so
That
the,
was set months ago.
so, that's fine. The only question, the reason why the post-production situation is because, these guys would be going over there, sitting there, and what I'm understanding, I have been to GTV and I know what the process is. And Neil and Sue were discussing it with me, I didn't understand why the process needed to be the way it was. I thought that we encoded here, and then it recorded also at GTV at the same time. It was scheduled recorded?
That's the MPEG, yeah,
Yeah, so, and then the MPEG's what plays over the air, correct?
for the, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so everything there doesn't need to David can take care of that stuff.
Right,
And
that was-
scheduling. Theirs is for chapterizing, correct?
Right.
Yeah, and I believe there was a discussion of holding off chapterizing for the next couple of months, and then picking it back up when the coordinator came in, or supposedly coming back and then. So there really wasn't any extra duties that they were gonna have to take over at the studio that David wasn't already doing. So that's where I think the hours were, because Andrew used to go over there and do the chapterizing, I understand. Well, that doesn't happen anymore, so they don't need those hours to do that. So that's where the loss of 5 hours implements into the 15. Instead of 20, it went down to 15 because the chapterizing isn't being used right now.
Yeah.
So that's where you save the 5 hours. So technically, I didn't know about the school board meeting. There was no discussion
Right.
about that, and I didn't know about that. But that's where that worked in for that.
Well, we don't chapterize that anyway,
Well,
that's
there you go.
No,
just
but
a
it's 2-3
DVD.
hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
still 2-3 hours. I didn't know about
Right,
that, so.
right.
It's only
And I apologize, I
month.
didn't
Yeah,
know about that.
yeah.
But I think the 15 hours, I'm sure that Neil and Sue have sat down and said, okay, these are the normal hours that usually goes to the meetings, and it equals 15. I'm sure they're not gonna say 15 hours, but it goes to 20. They're still gonna get paid for 20, but they're just budgeted for 15, so that's what I understood.
Can I
So-
just ask Neil about a comment he said? You said the budget's already set for next year, blah, blah, blah. But if the special article or whatever it is passes, then GTV's budget is gonna be up around 112 or 115,000.
That's what he's talking about. He's talking about the budget that we all discussed earlier in the year. That's the set budget of 113,000. I believe
Right,
that's
so
what
then
you're
there'll
talking
be more money in to pay him for the amount of hours they actually do.
about. Well, no, this board approved a 10, a 15, and a full-time coordinator, so, yeah, there'll be 2 other people and they'll get more hours, yeah, from what that budget was anyways, I believe, so.
What was the number of people were the coordinator and Dave's job and a videographer?
Oh, that's true, yeah.
We're splitting the videographer between
Yeah.
2 people.
So
It's still the same number of hours to budgeted.
Right, but what I'm saying is if we find that in the next 3 months, it's really more hours
We,
than it is.
we can't go back and ask the selectmen for more
you don't-
hours.
No, you don't have to. It's
No,
bottom line, remember?
no.
She said?
I understand exactly what you guys, what you're both saying. Right now, Andrew's position split up into 2. So actually, when 113, if, God willing, $113,000 is made, there's actually gonna be 4 employees at GTV. Under our approved that we sent over to the selectmen, it was only 3 employees, 15, 15, and a full-time coordinator. What's gonna end up happening is there's 2 of them are gonna split 15, David's gonna have 15, and then the coordinator's gonna be. So that's where Neil's saying that nothing's gonna change, because the total hours aren't gonna change, but they're actually gonna be 4 people instead of 3 people. You understand?
And-
You're
and-
taking away the 20 from David, I just want to say.
No.
If he's going to be, yeah, you just said 15.
Well, he's only been 15 anyway.
Right, but you people upped it because of the work he's
Go
doing.
back
If
down.
he's gonna be chapterizing, besides doing the shows that he's gonna finally be able to pick up again, It's gonna need the 20 hours. It's 3
You
to 4
can have a
hours.
full-time
3
coordinator.
to 4 hours.
The full-time coordinator is gonna do the chaperone. The full-time
David's
coordinator
been
is
doing
gonna,
a whole lot of extra work.
But
because
that's
there
not
isn't a
till
coordinator.
April.
but yeah, until April, he's gonna be 20 hours.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's not going down. He's not
Yeah.
going down until the coordinator walks through the door. So that's definitely
We
not
won't
gonna
let him
happen.
die either.
Yeah, exactly. It's not gonna happen. But, no, the coordinator is 40 hours is a long time. You know, you guys all know, you can do a lot in 40 hours or in a week, so, especially at that studio, you're gonna be able to get a lot done. You know, 20 hours is gonna be creative, and 20 hours is gonna be sitting in front of a computer, scheduling and doing all these different things, you know, that you normally would do every day
Dave's
tasks.
actually picking up a lot of work that Dick used to do.
Exactly,
So,
And
once
I-
the new coordinator.
And I want to say it, and I'm sure the rest of the committee says, I want to thank you and God's sakes, Brian. Thank you very much for helping out at the studio and upgrading all those things and what was going to, it looks great and everything's, I know there's some issues, which we're going to go over, but overall, there's, you know, you guys have put a lot of work into that place, you know, in the last 6 months, and we appreciate that. Well, I do anyways, and I'm sure they do, so, but.
I was very happy to
Especially
see
since
that
you don't
new one
charge our
back.
budget.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying, and we appreciate it, we very much appreciate it, so. All right, so two new employees, we got that all set, and then, what else? Gary's not here. Town information, there's nothing new to that. No, okay, we're good. Budget-wise, we're gonna spend all the money. All right, next, action items. I don't think we really have any action items tonight.
What about this?
nope.
Is this?
Yep, let's go over this. I
Action
was gonna bring
item.
this in new business, but we'll just go in right now.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's okay.
Yep, all right, let's
Bring it
talk
on
about this. Go ahead, Barbara.
Under new business though, right?
Yeah, it's under.
Under new business?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
technically,
Yeah,
yeah.
all right. Let's see, this we discussed was he and I.
You and
Okay.
David?
Yeah.
So David
and I.
Suter was actually the one with Barbara.
David
that-
Suter is actually presenting this, and did I give you a copy? Okay. And so, anyway, we've discussed this over many months, and changes in the procedures of the government meeting and videographers. The town hall in the info center will no longer do the post-meeting processing of the meeting and see attached. The studio tech will now do this, which is okay with him. Means extra work. I estimate 3 to 4 hours per week. One more thing to manage. That's 3 to 4 hours, sometimes on one show,
For
on
what?
one meeting, to do that process, post-meeting processing.
Yeah, but we're not doing that now. That's been suspended. You're talking about chapterizing?
No, this is what he's doing, is putting him up on the system. It's
So-
not chapterizing.
So you're telling me that a meeting that's getting recorded right now, that's being
Right.
recorded in the database, he walks in and he's gotta put 3 to 4 hours of work
It all
onto that?
depends on the type of problem that has happened, because there are different problems that are happening.
I'm gonna, and please, Dick, tell me if I'm
Yeah,
absolutely
no,
wrong.
go ahead.
I'm gonna assume that when the file comes in, he sees the file either the next morning, he renames it to, video
Right,
committee meeting.
yeah.
He can put I imagine there's gotta be a way to put a title onto it, like that flashes
Right,
over
right,
onto
right,
it when
yeah.
it plays, and then he just slides it into the time slot. What more is there to do?
Few other things. He's got to edit and chop it down, and when they go out for a break, he's got to chop that down.
I'm assuming.
And so he's editing, and so sometimes it depends on how long, well, you've seen him do it, how long,
Yeah,
But-
but that's
but this-
not, I have a
but it
question.
doesn't-
When I see them
Yeah.
do that, they're
Yeah.
talking to me.
Yeah.
It's not like they're physically sitting there working the computer. It's working, but then Andrew's
Right, you
talking to
walk
me.
away.
And we walk away and we go talk about something. So there's not that, it may take
no,
3 hours.
that's when he's finished all that editing and chopping it up and looking at it, and then when he wants to finalize it, then he can walk away. But that's still working. He's not on the computer doing that
Well,
when it's finalizing.
And I need, if I could, and
No, go ahead,
I'm not
go
trying to
ahead.
defend anything,
No,
I'm just
no,
trying to
no,
think in my
no,
head of how the process
yeah.
works. Dick, help me out, because
Can
I don't
we-
know tightrope as well as I do
Can you
electronics.
just read what it says, which is, I estimate 3 to 4 hours per week.
Right.
Okay,
Not per
okay, okay.
show.
All right.
It's per week.
All right, but help me out just for, but help me
Yeah.
out with, I was gonna say, 3 to 4 hours, that's a lot, but, because I don't know tightrope as well as electronics. Now, when I get a file in, if I want to start a file 3 or 4 minutes into it, all I have to do is change the in point, and then I can change the out point when I can scan the file really quick, and I can say, okay, there's the out point at 1 hour and 20 minutes. and the input's at 3 minutes and 12 seconds. I put the input, I put the output, the file comes back in saying 1 hour, 18 minutes long, and it starts and stops at those points.
That's correct.
Okay.
Except we've always taken out the dead break time and all of that.
Right.
Is that necessary?
Yeah, just like we're skipping
Uh,
chapterizing, I
Yeah,
would
because
skip
it could
that
be
too.
almost 15 minutes.
Yeah,
No, I understand,
people
but,
have DVRs, people-
but no,
Can't
but
get
an
an
MPEG file,
you could do it.
automatically, if you say the input's at
It's an
4
hour
minutes and 20
and
seconds,
starts at
it
3.
starts at 4 minutes 20, it's
Playtime
not
would be an
black for
hour
4 minutes and 20
She's
seconds.
talking about a
Right, but
15-minute
but
recess in the middle of the
break,
meeting.
can't you scan
No,
quick?
they have
Well, if they have a
Go in-
recess in the
No,
meeting,
then
then that's
you-
different.
But I'm saying,
but-
you don't
Talk
even have
about
to do
taking
that.
that out.
Yeah,
You know, it's
Yeah.
time consuming to sit and tweak and
Well-
do.
well,
but it's
here's another
not
question. Do
A
you-
lot of time.
Do you guys don't edit the actual meeting, the meat of the meeting, do you? If they
No,
go for,
it's
if you go
just
for a recess, you just keep it,
Beginning and
and that's it,
and
right?
then the
out the
recess
recess.
we take out.
So you guys do take out the recess?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we've
Oh,
always
okay.
taken them out.
Okay,
Okay.
now, I don't know if everybody knows this or not. When the time changed
Mm-hmm.
in October, no, some other time, when the time changed,
Yeah.
for some reason or other, Andrew came to me saying, I'm losing 2.5 minutes at the beginning of every meeting. So we thought about it and thought about it. The only thing we can figure out is that the internal clock of the computer was not starting, it was incorrect.
Well, there's,
And so what we do now,
Mm-hmm.
what I figured, I says, what I can do for you is start the meeting 5 minutes before. And he said, no, why don't you do it 15 as a safeguard? So at the moment, if the meeting starts at 6, I have it programmed starting at 5:45. You have to go in and get that dead minute, that dead time.
well,
And then if the meeting only lasts an hour, I have it till midnight, which I have to do that to it. If it, and so you have to go in and kill from that hour to midnight. It's just part of the editing.
no, and I agree with you. I think
Right.
the issue what you have with your computer is that there's actually 2 clocks in your playback system. There's the computer clock,
Yeah.
and there's the tightrope clock. And
Yeah.
you have to match those up.
Right.
And to matching those up, they will start and stop on the same times.
Right.
If you have if your tightrope is 1 minute and 30 seconds off,
Mm-hmm.
and your internal computer is off, you're gonna think that they're gonna start at different times on your schedule. So sometimes you have to lock them together. Every month we go through and with our 2
Well,
systems.
nobody
So
went through it, and Andrew didn't bring it up to
I don't know,
anybody, so,
I don't know about tightrope, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. It's kind of the same concept.
So anyway, right now, every single meeting needs 15 minutes has to be taken off the front.
Jeez.
Now,
If anybody can go in there and tweak it with a, electronic.
Maybe I'm wrong, because that
That's-
tightrope's different, but that's what it is in
That's the
electronics.
first I've heard of it, but it sounds like an easy fix.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems
oh,
like
but
it's-
that's nothing.
Because
The
we did
problem,
that.
no,
we
the
fixed it,
problem
yeah.
becomes where if nobody stops the recording when the meeting finishes at 8 o'clock,
Yeah.
we got 6 hours of video, which is a large file,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Now, again, I'm gonna write something up for Neil for a process back there. And one of the things would be is if this person here had access to the cable cast, they could go in, start the recording 5 minutes before. When the meeting is done, they go, stop the recording, and that way we have,
A usable file,
A
or something,
usable-
manageable file.
Well,
yeah, I mean, a
that's
couple
one of the
minutes here and
reasons
there.
why Andrew and
You know?
David would always go back to the studio right away, and they'd go in and they'd stop the recording.
Yeah,
Right.
see, that's-
So
But
that
they
there
could
wasn't
do it
those
from here so
29
that-
hours.
Do we need to add another computer here?
No,
No?
why
no,
can't you do
we
that
got
from
the
here?
laptop.
All right, so yeah, we should be doing that here. That definitely,
Right.
that seems,
Yeah.
that seems a waste to drive, well, it's not that far, but it seems a waste.
Well,
to drive all
he
the
was
back.
going there to finish
You
up
have to
and
go back and
edit.
do other
There
things
anyway,
anyway.
but
Right.
either way, just stopping it here, that extra time you're not recording, going
Exactly.
back to the studio.
Yeah, cuts down the size of
Yeah.
the wasted file.
All right, let's move on.
Okay, so, at the moment, he's had to cancel several recording sessions with patrons that only have evening availability at the town, he said at the town hall, it should mean the school.
Now, is that before
No,
these people
Anton.
were hired? Now that
Yeah.
they're hired, this
Right,
should fix
before,
it. This should
right.
fix it,
And,
okay.
but he was just itemizing
Oh, okay,
all the
yep,
things.
yep.
And that's not town hall, that's actually the school building.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
No, he had to come here to do the meeting,
come here to
so it
film,
is
yeah.
town hall.
Yeah.
No, I had to cancel several recording sessions with patrons that only have even
Availability.
availability to be at the town
No,
hall.
he
David
had-
had to be at the town hall,
Right,
not the people.
Yeah.
Right.
And we should be past this starting next week.
Mm-hmm.
And so, once the government meeting videograph is there, get up to speed, I will be able to return to the studio schedule to normal and to address the editing backlog of the longer term. The town hall authorized me to work 2 hours per week until the new coordinator is in place. The new town support will use some of this time. I am doing okay keeping up with the daily studio operations, but longer-term stuff is still there. Currently, his queue, and every single week he would, every single time, cooking unit modification for Cooking with Charles, restart the scheduling change project, edit the book circle shows, which 6 to 8, edit football games, 4, fix 100F carousel template, expanded school involvement through school volunteers, continued efforts to revive the GTV news, see below, continue file server mitigation and housekeeping. These are the things that he does every single week that are on queue, and he just has to, he keeps adding to his queue. This is one of his shorter queues. But now that these people are here, this may be able to go down, okay? And the IT upgrades and support by the town IT department were great. Once true backups are in place, I'll feel pretty good, and we are making some good progress. Internet upload speeds are dreadfully slow, but we'll see about that. Video renders and format conversions are also slow. Faster speed, more work done. Whenever I started something or he started something, you could see that there's a little thing that says how fast the recording or
Throttle-
downloading.
throttles down,
It
yeah.
would go,
The lights dim.
yeah, the lights.
Little,
go
little
down,
hamsters
right.
go,
Yeah.
I'm getting
Right,
tired."
and so we're hoping with the new stuff, the new piece that he put in and a few other things that they're gonna do, that, and also that new one that it's got sitting there waiting for the conversion, okay, that might do it. The producer agreement documents need to be updated to bring them in line with the actual studio and patron behavior. I have not looked into the studio documents and filing system at all. We have worked on the studio's IT structure and have done a preliminary equipment status evaluation. The homeschool effort is doing well. He's got 2 completed shows, as you can see. I have a new Goffstown Democrats show in the works, but now that with these people, he'll be able to be doing it, and he'll be able to be doing, Charles's shows again. Also, a couple of the Christian Goffstown people had to be delayed, and so did a couple of New Hampshire politics shows, all because now that'll be up and running. Some notes for the July studio meeting. 2 top priorities: improve the timeliness and predictability and visibility of show schedules, outreach to the nonprofits, the education community, and the government departments, improve IT support and involvement from the town. Proposed studio hours, those are the hours that he actually is using now. And on Saturdays, not Saturdays, but on Fridays, he's had people request, and if you can see, other times by appointment, and he has accommodated some people when they needed to be there on Friday. And Friends of GTV. For GVT to prosper, we need to get a vibrant Friends of GTV organization in place. Main purpose is to establish and maintain a core group of volunteers. A magazine show. I would like to see a Goffstown magazine show that would run monthly. The show would highlight what happened in the last month since the last show, and what of community interest is coming up for the next month. And we should have a school-produced GHS news segment, either taped separately in the GTV studio or provided by the school. And there's been a couple of people that have come in. David doesn't have time. Now he will, okay? And there's an 8th grader that came in and was doing very well, and he's come in a couple of times, and he's one of the ones David had to put away. But the kid does most of the stuff at home, and then he's coming in and learning how to convert it to, he has Apple, convert it to whatever, he's sharp as a tack. And he's come a couple of times in. And then in the bottom, you can mention this or not, and I think I should, but this is how I feel. I think the GTV committee should be turned into a hands-on volunteer group called the Friends of GTV. From my perspective, the committee doesn't help studio operations, an active group of volunteers would. And that's it. And so, Yeah.
David, I got a couple of things with David, he can take it easy, that's what he can do.
yeah, well, David said he wanted to bring this up many, many times. And so, but every time you people were here, he needed to be recording or he needed to be
I think part of the
somewhere
problem
else.
with that right there is there's
Yeah.
nobody there to guide any volunteers.
Right,
There's no extra staff, there's no extra budget
Right.
for that to say, hey,
Right.
I want to volunteer, what can I do?
Mm.
I'm too busy to show you.
right,
You know, there's not enough hours.
right.
No, I don't,
Yeah.
I understand.
That's something that he wants to put on the table,
and I-
let you know.
I think it's a great idea. but-
And I'm not gonna say that's a great idea, but I think, and, you know, I'm just speaking for myself, of course, not for you guys, but, as of right now, David is there to help, just keep the boat in its proper path and, on the river, and I don't think we should be looking at magazine shows and be expanding any duties right now. I think what he needs to do is handle the duties, because just looking at that list, sure as heck not gonna put anything more on his plate, so,
No,
Yeah.
but
I think
he
4
wants
football
you to
games
know what
having.
he's been thinking
No, I-
of for many years.
And,
you
and I
know,
appreciate that, and
yeah.
I wish he would express them, you know, if there's many years, you should have expressed that a couple of years ago. or
The Goffstown
something.
Magazine show is something that a citizen's gonna have to bring up.
Yeah, exactly, and.
You should do that. Or do you respond back to the Goffstown Democrats?
But no, I like having 4 football games that aren't edited. Like,
Right.
You might as well not even do them now, because by the time you get them all
Ball's
done,
over.
they're gonna be useless, so. Those
Not,
things,
not
those things that
really,
should be getting.
because
Except I,
like he
I'll
says,
disagree because,
They need to get on the air, they need to get.
right.
no,
he
but the
need-
thing is, the kids have done football, they're gonna be able to watch them.
No, I'm not
You know,
saying that
so-
they
Yeah.
should never get done, but I'm
They-
saying.
they can
certain
watch 'em
things
anytime.
Have to be done in a timely manner.
Right.
People should
Right,
see them,
right,
you know,
Yeah.
quick, like, let's get them within a week, they should be on the air.
Right, well, I mean, like last winter, we had the same issue where he was doing wrestling shows that were 6 months old.
Yeah, it's just,
Because that's when they brought
Because
him
that's
in.
when they
to
brought
us.
him
well, that's it,
Yeah,
yeah, if they
yeah.
bring them in, that's nothing
Yeah.
to do with us,
Right,
you know, but
right.
I'm saying if he has them in his hand and they're sitting there,
And
I
so,
know there's a lot going on.
in my
but-
schedule, in the schedule,
Mm-hmm.
there is a 2-hour span that is there for football, not
Or for
football, for
games,
sports. For sports. And right now, I'm running, you know, the football to block off those hours because the whole week and if I don't, and then in the middle of the week, something gets done, I can't upgrade to the new one because all the hours are gone.
Yeah.
So I put in an old one, and then as soon as I get a new one, I can, you know, upgrade it and do the time. Anyway,
Do we have the ability to do a live sporting event?
Well, it depends
yet.
from where.
The contract actually implemented.
I mean, it's,
new-
because
new the
it
field's
would
gonna be
make
hooked up
sense
and-
to, if we could get something at the football field or in the gym, that would kind of take care of it. They could run it live and then just re-show it.
right.
Because it's
Let's
not
go to
like,
the
Live,
chicken
live
dinners, talk
isn't,
Look at his
Always a-
pursed lips.
live isn't always a great thing because it's usually 3 o'clock or whatever, and you know. But it depends on what capabilities we do get,
yeah,
because it has to feed back to the studio and the whole.
right.
Well,
So I
Neil,
don't
you
know
wanna
what
speak
you
on-
have.
Through the cable franchise that will hopefully be finalized, you know, in the next few weeks, we asked for live feed from the auditorium and from the gymnasium.
Okay.
And that way you could.
No sports fields though, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, you
and the
did that
football
for
field.
the.
Football field.
Yeah.
Really? And that way, well, like Dick was saying, maybe nobody can watch at 3 in the afternoon if that's when the basketball game is, but it would be recorded live right
It
onto
would
the
be
server,
recorded
and you could
live,
replay it
and
when you
could
want.
replay it,
without-
And that would be a way to get the students engaged, which is we've always tried to be doing, it seems like, and they never
Right.
want to. But if it's being done live, yes, at 3 o'clock, but they also have Friday night football games.
Well, Friday night football games, most varsity basketball games are
Is at night?
6:30 or
Yeah.
7 o'clock, and so
Right.
it'll work out nicely with that. So yeah, that was very, you know, that was one of the big important things that we were discussing, that we had to definitely make sure those things happened, so.
The comment on the Friends of GTV, it's registered.
It is.
Yeah, I registered it, there was 5 of us, you might have been one of them.
Okay.
Bill Wynn, Marie Boyle, bless her soul.
How long, that was a while ago, huh? That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Because even when I first got on the board, like, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, you guys were talking, it was already done.
No, it was, yeah, I mean, it's been registered for a while.
Yeah.
When you say a while, more than a year?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Have you filed your yearly paperwork as a nonprofit?
No, the trade name is, that's
Okay.
all it is a
Yeah,
trade
it's
name.
not a 501.
It's not a nonprofit or anything. The biggest issue, because I've been trying for 15 years, the biggest issue is to find someone to run it. You know? So, while we're on TV, if there is anybody out there who's interested in spearheading a Friends of GTV,
What would that entail?
well, it would entail meetings, having meetings to get people together, organizing training sessions with the GTV staff, coordinating. The purpose of the Friends of GTV was to build production teams, more or less, okay? Where, you know, you're interested in videotaping, but that's it. You're interested in editing, and you're interested in being in front of the camera. Okay, well, I have an idea for a show to do something, but I need a videographer, I need, you know, that's where the Friends of GTV, the intention has been all these years. So you need somebody to coordinate it.
And it's a little, it's not this, what this board does. It would be different. It'd be more of a volunteer-based, you
Yeah,
know.
it's gonna be a,
Yeah, it's not what this board is more of an advisory board and more of a governing, well, not a governing board, but it's, you know.
I mean, many of the members
Yeah,
here
we don't have
could
much
be
power.
members of the Friends of
Right.
GTV,
Yes, yeah, exactly.
you know?
Are you envisioning it as a fundraising group as well?
Yeah,
Well, then it would have to be a nonprofit.
Yes.
right.
But if it doesn't have to
But
be a
the-
nonprofit, if it just wants to be an organizational board.
Yeah, it can
But the intention is to get it going
It can
first.
wear many different hats, okay.
Yeah.
You know, I think all these things, such as the Friends of GTV, the Gotham Magazine, those are things that can really take hold once a coordinator's in place.
I agree. That's exactly.
Because, I mean, it's,
yeah.
right now, there's no time for it down there.
Exactly.
And
Unless the town's gonna give us 40 more hours a week.
no, that's, I totally, absolutely agree. There's a lot of things that are pinned up on the right person being in that position. That's exactly what it is, and if it's done right, it can be done very well, so.
Any applications for it?
We haven't
There's
even,
no
can't-
job
there's no
posting
job
yet.
yet,
There's no
until it
job
actually gets
opening.
approved. Once it gets approved, I'm sure it will happen quickly, so.
Well, again, it's gotta wait till the money
I was
is,
gonna say, we gotta wait till April
untied.
for that, right?
Yeah.
right.
So, help
But
me
in
out.
the
I know
meantime,
it's-
Dave's doing a great job laying the groundwork.
Yeah, and he still has sanity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yes, yeah.
don't know how, he still has sanity.
Yeah, he's doing a great job, he is.
You do
Compliment
know
him
that
quite a bit.
He went out one day and caught a pheasant for him to cook.
Oh, really?
You do know that.
No, I didn't
on
know
the
that.
show. Yeah,
He had time
he's
to go.
thrilled. Yeah,
Seriously,
that
it's not
was his day
working?
off.
He was
Come
out
on,
killing
lazy.
things.
It was his
In
day
the
off.
back in the football
Yeah.
field.
Exactly. Get something on the way to work.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right, well, that's good. Well,
I want to make one comment about this. I'm not going to comment on his work. I'm going to, what, his ideas or anything. The homeschool effort, that is one fantastic thing. They come in and actually have a class in the studio. And so David is showing, there's two different adults that he's showing how to do the editing on the computers and stuff, and also to run the studio. And it's almost like they're gonna be able to do that. And when you
Right,
say,
they'll be the
go
teachers.
into his what?
They'll be the teachers of the kids.
Right,
Yeah,
right. And the kids are very enthusiastic. And they want to know what everything's doing and what they're doing. And they have that into their classroom session while they're in the studio. And they're there, I don't know if they're there 2 hours, because the 2 times that I was there when they were there, it was about 2 hours they came in and did their program, did their schoolwork of TV and stuff like that. And then, like I said, the 2 different ones that were there.
that's exactly what I envisioned that
And
the
they-
Goffstown school would be doing. That
Right.
They would send a person in, no,
Right.
I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
They would send a person in to be instructed, and then that one individual would then oversee the students as they came in to the studio and did their production. That's what I envisioned.
Right.
But-
Right, if they
Yeah.
didn't have the kids that are sitting there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Taking up the
hopefully,
space.
it's once the changes, once this, I keep coming back on the
I know,
coordinator's
a
position.
lot is hinging on
No,
that.
but once the coordinator's position, the ball is in their court to make the changes they need to change in that room to be able to bring the students in when they need to do.
Right.
That's,
Right.
you know, it's gonna be their responsibility. We can't make those changes, so, even now, we can't make those changes, so they have to, you know, do
Right,
that themselves.
yeah.
But
Can I ask Barbara?
Go ahead.
For the homeschool effort, you said there was 2 adults and how many children?
Oh, no, I said there's 2 adults that they're showing, they're showing the equipment to,
Okay.
and stuff like that. There's about 4 adults, the 2 times that I was there. There were about 4 adults, and I'm gonna say, you were asking children, there's like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, maybe 14, maybe 15, that come in, and they are very active.
These are all homeschool?
Homeschool kids, right.
They actually have large classes where they all come together for like science, math,
Right,
stuff.
they-
They let you
they-
just do this as a.
I'm gonna say the age group, I didn't ask, but the age group, they're like 70 years old, knowing all the information that they're talking when I'm hearing them. But I'm gonna say that there's like about 8 years old to like 13. I'm not sure, but there's like, and it's interesting that,
An 8-year-old knows more about computers than we do,
Yeah.
so.
I know,
I mean,
yeah.
they're fun in that studio.
I noticed that one of the children went into the studio while all the adults were busy, and so I went in and asked, what are you interested in? I can answer some questions. And he really wanted to know how the computer, how the camera runs. Does it use tape? Does it use whatever? I says, actually, it's all electronics going into the system over there. And he says, oh, okay. And so he's talking, and another little kid comes in and just stands there while I'm telling him, answering his questions about different stuff. And I said to the kid over there, have you, the second kid, blah, 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 blah. And he said, oh, we don't have TV in my house. And I said, oh, that's interesting, because my kids grew up without TV, so that's nothing. And so he says, but I don't get to see Channel 6. Oh, I know, I asked about, do you see Channel 16?
Right.
Or are you aware? And so he was just saying, oh, I don't have a computer in my house. Oh, I'm not going to say the next thing.
Yep.
But when the mother came in. But anyway, it was interesting, that here they are, very interested. He asked a lot of questions, as the first boy did. And I was able to answer the questions about the lights and the, whatever, they were simplified questions. And so, all of a sudden, this mother showed up and said, you have to get back to your class. It was almost 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I don't know, that we were in there, that they didn't even recognize that they had left the room, so, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's good. It's wonderful that they're doing that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Yes.
Can I add something to Neil's potential list of things for the studio? Teleprompters, you might wanna,
That was on Dave's list.
that was on his list?
It might have been on your list, too.
Yeah, it probably was, okay.
They're great. We didn't have them for the longest time. We got one now. They're great.
Yeah.
They make it so
You're
much easier for
welcome.
taping specific teleprompters.
Yeah, there's something they have down there, but it doesn't really work
Oh,
that well.
For the record.
The system they had.
Right, it's not, it's
Cumbersome.
cumbersome and,
not user-friendly and,
it's not up in front of the lens.
No.
yeah.
We're gonna try building those, but he never got around, so.
Anything else, guys? Next month, second Wednesday, and yeah, I guess that's it. Yeah. Are we good? Yeah.
When we were talking, David and I were talking, we were saying that we should let the committee know what's going on at the studio on a monthly basis of whatever he's doing. And so, I'm going to bring some more information.
Good.
And, I'm not gonna talk about my problems or whatever until, they come and play in the computers, and so, they may all be erased, so there's no reason to register them, at the
What-
moment, yeah.
Once a month, could we give Dave the extra hours to just come to the meeting?
Yeah, because I'd love to have him here.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
that's what would would love to have
Yeah.
him come here so I
He
can.
had
he
a
had a
family
family
thing,
thing,
yeah,
so-
he has a
But
family
I
thing.
would love him to come here and
Yeah.
kind of just sit down, even if it's for like, an hour from like, even a half an hour, 6:30 to
Right, no,
7. just-
yeah, well,
call in, too.
Yeah, I know, it's like we got the
We
system.
have, that's, we know that's what
We
you
got the
said.
system there.
Where he is, they can't even get cell phone service, so anyway.
But no, I'd love him to come, because it doesn't seem like his hours
He has
work,
wanted to come, but every time he has made plans to come,
Okay.
Because
something came up.
it's, because it's
Yeah.
tough for I should try to get there more often, but it's tough
Yeah.
for me to get to the studio
Yeah,
and schedule-wise, so.
No, well, so anyway, that's what we're gonna do. And, you know, he said that I could be the blabbermouth and,
Yeah.
you know, that's okay with him. But he does wanna come to some of the meetings, you
Good,
know.
that'd be great.
and
And there's no, I'm sure you guys wouldn't have an issue going, having another meeting at the studio again, just to kinda
No.
go down over there and
definitely not.
sit over there, and, you know, it doesn't always have to be here, so it might be easier for him too. so-
Right.
The
Right.
goal is to have them here, so
Live,
they're
because-
televised.
Yes,
Right.
true, but we can make an exception every once in a while
Right,
to go over
right,
there,
yeah.
but, that's
And
all
they
right.
can still be televised there.
So why can't we
Yeah,
tell them
I
at the
guess we
studio?
could.
It is a
Yeah.
studio.
That's true, we just put some chairs down and we just all just
Yeah.
go from there, but anyways. Anything else? Yes, Dick?
Brad,
Brad?
okay.
I was just gonna say, the second Wednesday of the month is the 9th. Actually, 5 Wednesdays in next month.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I just wanted
5 paychecks.
earlier in the month, yeah. Okay,
Did you say it's January 9th?
January 9th.
Yeah, okay.
Dick?
And this,
Nope.
that you
Isn't
brought to us,
today-
that,
Excuse me,
can
go
this
ahead.
be emailed to us in
What?
electronic format, so we
What?
can, what
This
Dave put together?
yeah, when you,
Oh, yeah, I can,
yeah.
Put this
yeah.
together, yeah.
It's just that he sent it to me personally late Tuesday night and, you know. and-
Yeah, oh,
Neil,
no, but I'm
Neil
just
can
saying-
forward it,
I
because
just
he
stopped
has it.
saving
in-
things electronically now,
Yeah.
where before I had paper this.
Yeah, no, why, would you like me to mail it to you? Well, you got it in front of you, you want.
It's gonna be
what-
part of the minutes, Brad, as well, so
Okay.
it'll be online.
But I would appreciate, like, if I got it a day ahead before we came to the meeting, because I'd love to read some of this stuff, just so if I have any questions, I don't have to sit here and, you know.
Right, I'm
just-
sorry, well,
oh, no,
like
I'm
I
not
said, I
saying
got it.
Not saying about here, I'm just
got
saying
it
from here on out, if
Wednesday
he can,
morning
yep.
at,
Yeah.
If he
yeah.
could, that
Then
would be awesome.
We just have to make sure to save your comments for the meeting.
Yes.
Don't,
It's just
don't
refer-
read it
yeah.
and start
Yep,
sending
Yeah.
no
emails.
comments,
I
just,
do have, I do have the emails stream from the, about, I forgot already,
2 new
Oh,
people.
who, if I can, who,
which I'll add to the minutes.
perfect, who does update the website? Who's in charge of that?
No, don't look at me.
No, but, I know, but
I only get-
nobody knows who has ownership of that, and
I only
But
get
it's
the
from the
certain,
town, we
I
have
can't-
to do it through the
because
town.
even, he says in here that
So who
the
does own it?
website needs an update, some gross need of an update. 'Cause,
Yeah. So
nothing's been
are you the
updated
one that
for
does
well
it, or
over a
what?
year.
certain, I have access to certain
Yeah.
sections, and that's
Right.
it.
Okay.
And
Okay.
it's never the sections people want.
So who would we send those updates
Yeah.
to you?
You know what you do? You send an email to Sue or to somebody, or is it to Catherine? There's actually a link on the website, any corrections, blah, blah, blah.
There is, okay.
Use that link for the corrections, and they usually take care of
But
it.
that's for corrections, are you talking about
Or-
adding new stuff?
Well, like
No,
that
no.
show Play On,
Right.
that's been sitting there, a new show, episode 1, it's been there for a year and a half.
I haven't been to the
I'll have to
website.
look at the page.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, all those things I think need to be updated, because there's nothing
When-
about, Dave got something about my show on, but there's nothing
Well,
about any of the
can
other
we-
shows.
Can we,
Right, because there's
What-
nobody to do
what's
it.
your, go ahead, Neil, go ahead.
Right,
When the
good point.
town went to the current format,
Right.
with its new web page,
Right.
it used to be that the IT staff was updating the entire web
Right.
page, and it was just taking way too much of our time.
Okay.
So we designed it so that each office or each group could
Department.
update and be responsible for their own
So,
page.
can we be responsible for the own page?
Yes.
And,
We are.
and you already are, but there's no
is.
coordinator anymore to be
Can I,
responsible.
make a motion, all right, then, we put Charles
Yeah,
in
that's-
charge of taking care
Oh.
of upgrading
That
from
was
here
it.
on out?
You
and
know
can-
how to do Word, or what is it, WordPress?
If I can be taught how to do
Well,
that,
that's what I'm saying.
I can
Is
do
there
that.
a way that you could meet with
Yeah.
Neil sometime just for like a couple of
Yeah.
hours during Neil's schedule? You guys could work together? to-
Ideally, it would be a town employee, but I think the only exception we've made to that was we allowed Pam
Right.
to make some changes on the GTV page.
Right.
And we could probably do the same thing for you
Yeah.
if you're
Okay.
interested.
And I apologize, did you, Pam, did you want Charles? I just used
Do
Charles.
you wanna do
because
this?
He brought, because you brought it up.
Don't wanna
You
give
brought it up, so
20
that's why.
people
access.
No, exactly.
Yeah, no, but no.
And I don't
But
mind
he's-
volunteering to do it.
He's just
in the
it's- he brought it up, that's
studio,
why I
he
wanted-
knows
I made some
what's going
slight
on.
changes, and that's all I was able to make.
So if I need you guys to make a motion for it, but I would love
Yeah,
Charles to
I-
do that. If you guys could just work together to do that, that would
You need a motion
solve
for
it.
that?
I think you kind of do you? Because he's representing our
Because
community, no?
motions don't hurt anyway.
So moved,
So,
whatever you said.
Okay, all in favor, there you
Move
go.
it, somebody second it,
So
it's
the
done.
representative of the website, so if there's any issues that you individually, and the reason why I wanted the motion, but anything that you guys see in the website, you just need to let Charles know, and Charles will
Mike, you
make the change.
seconded that, right?
Yes. So there we go. So
Yeah.
that's,
Because that's been an ongoing issue for many meetings.
so he will be the person for the website. Till we have a coordinator,
there a
then when the
vote?
coordinator,
They can take
it just happened.
Unanimous.
Yeah, we
Okay.
did, yeah.
So were there any other questions? Did you, anybody?
Anonymous vote.
Yeah, yeah.
Anonymous.
That, you know, I'm not gonna speak for Dave, but I'll clarify what we've talked about, yeah.
All right,
No, he can watch the video too.
anything else? Dick, anything else?
Yeah, I'd like to, as the coordinator for 17 years, I'd like to talk a little bit about Marie Boyle.
Choking up, huh?
Yep.
We'll be here on this.
It's all part of the gang and tradition. We have a very difficult time for some reason.
Maybe I'll send a letter to the editor.
You okay?
Marie Boyle was the first woman that became a friend of mine when actually, she told me she would be my friend when I first came to town. And
You know how many
one
people
of the-
say that too? It's
Right.
unbelievable.
I've already heard that numerous
Yeah.
times.
First
And,
face they
yeah.
met.
Yeah, and she, one of the, we emailed often about different stuff. One of the things, when we had Dick's party at the trestle there, I told her how I was so surprised that I walked into a blood drive place and they had no age limit in New Hampshire, and that I was able to give blood. And this was the end of July, I think we had your party.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, for the same reasons I haven't given blood. I'll go look. It was at St. Lawrence at the time. So she went over. And they accepted her, because the first thing they ask you is you're anemic, and she wasn't. And she gave blood in July, and then this, you know, and that many times. Anyway, she was so delighted that she was able to do that with all the other things that she does.
Yeah, I don't know if
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of meeting her, but
Yeah.
she sounds like, from everybody I hear, she sounds
Yeah.
like a wonderful person, so
Yeah.
it's,
Anyway,
well,
so anyway.
yeah, any
I
motion
heard
for
that.
adjourning?
I heard that.
Yeah. All right. Second? All right, all in favor? Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot, Ted.
If I don't see everybody, have a great holidays.
Have a
Yes.
nice-
Yeah.
Yes, you
Yeah,
too.
Happy New Year and
Yep.
everything else.
Anything Jewish?
Merry Christmas.
I'll email you. So,
Yeah.
break.
We done, Ted, recording?